With 15 staff members and 18 PhD students, we have one of the highest concentration of environmental economists in the Netherlands and perhaps also Europe. Our mission is to acquire, share and transfer academic knowledge and expertise on the relationship between the economy and the environment to address societal concerns and inform policy. Our main research questions and methods have been categorized in 3 specific clusters. The first cluster, economic valuation, investigates how humans benefit from the environment. The second cluster concentrates around economic modeling, in which we investigate the specific relationship between economic systems and environmental systems. The third cluster addresses economic instruments. One of the central questions in this cluster is how we can stimulate sustainable environmental behavior of both producers and consumers. The majority of our research is concentrated in 3 focal areas: climate change and energy, water resource management, ecosystem services and biodiversity. My colleagues will now introduce these themes by illustrating it through their own research.
The work I'm involved in with my colleagues here at IVM is concerned with the conditions for self-enforcement and cooperative resource management. One of the problems with biodiversity conservation is that the cost of conservation can be very high. The enforcement and monitoring cost, but also the livelihood cost of people having to move out of the areas where biodiversity is being protected. So our interest is to see in how we can involve communities to lower these costs and more effectively conserve biodiversity. The work is based on the work of Ostrom, who won the Nobel Prize in Economics in 2009, who showed that communities can effectively self-enforce sustainable resource use. But it's also relevant in the European context, where governments are spending less on biodiversity protection and where new coalitions are being thought to really protect biodiversity in an effective way. So here, for example, we're looking at the possibilities for self-enforcing consumer coalitions who together finance payments for ecosystem services to farmers.
I examine the potential effects of climate change on extreme weather events and on the insurance sector, but also how insurances can contribute to accommodate and adapt to increasing risk due to climate change. Extreme weather events are expected to increase, which can have considerable impacts on the insurance sector. This research has also examined opportunities to develop flood insurance in the Netherlands, which is currently not available. And it proposed to introduce a public-private partnership to insure flood risk, with the government as a reinsurer and primary insurance companies covering flood risk using risk-based premiums, which gives incentives to households to limit risk themselves, but also gives them more financial security than is the case in the present situation.
I'm examining the economic impacts of drought on the European countries within the greater Rhine River Basin. Most of the water is used in standard economic activities, irrigating crops, cooling power plants, and filling the canals and rivers so cargo ships can move their cargo. All of these sectors are connected through a shared hydrological resource as well as doing business in the same economy. What we are doing here is to use a large-scale macroeconomic model to capture all of the major economic linkages within the system. If a drought occurs that is severe enough and on a large enough scale, it will send ripples through both the hydrological system and the economic system. And we are trying to examine just how far these ripples go.
The Department for Environmental Economics works for a wide range of customers. 1/3 of our funding comes from the EU, 1/3 of our funding comes from the Netherlands Organization on Scientific Research, and the remainder comes from a mixture of Dutch and international organizations, both governmental and non-governmental. Besides conducting high-quality research, the majority of our staff is also involved in training and teaching. We organize master courses on various themes, and almost every year we organize a summer school for students all around the world. Our department aims at providing an inspiring and challenging working environment for junior and senior economists to develop sustainable solutions for a complex and rapidly changing world. Thank you for your attention.